What's up, everyone? Um, this is honestly just a loosely based video. Uh, just been chilling. It's 10:30 at night, so I'm kind of winding down. Figured I'd have a little sip. It's like orange soda, hard orange soda, and a little cigarette. Uh, which I've actually been doing really good on my drinking, uh, which is good. Uh, it's hard. It's hard dealing with quitting and cutting back and just in general. I don't think I'll ever fully be able to quit, but managing it would be the best term to manage it better. And I actually have been eating like 2 or 3 meals a day now. I used to eat like 1 meal a day and drink my brains into fucking retardation, you know. But I feel like I've been doing pretty good. At least like level rather than like blah, blah, you know what I mean? Uh, I actually was going to do this video earlier today just thinking about it. I was already thinking about I haven't touched on politics ever. So this is my first political video. Because I'm sure like anyone who follows my channel is probably slightly curious on what I feel about politics. I would call myself a non-active anarchist. At the end of the day, I'm an anarchist. Like, pretty much being a non-active anarchist would be like, and I don't even know if this is an actual term. I just made it up one day because someone asked me, like, are you Republican or Democrat? And I'm like, I'm a non-active anarchist. And they're just like, oh? Like, pretty much, I want the government to crumble in flames. But, you know, I would like to see people go back to trade, which is honestly impossible at this point. Pretty much when I say non-active anarchist, I don't want to be labeled as like a terrorist or somebody who's gonna get a machine gun and, fuck up government buildings and shit. I'm not. That's why I say non-active anarchist. At the end of the day, I'm an anarchist, but I don't act on it violently or terroristically, you know. Um, and I don't really talk about politics, man. Like most people, I used to bartend for 7 years, and they would try to get me to talk about politics. And I thought it was a good way to say it, but I'd be like, "Oh, I don't really care about politics. I don't get into politics." And they'd be like, "Really? You don't get into politics? Don't you care about this country?" And it's like, dude, I love. I don't look at it as countries, man. I love the people around me, and I love this world. You know, as far as patriotism, like, first of all the history books that we've been taught in school, half of it's lies. When you actually do your research on your own, you're like, holy shit. I went through 12 years of high school and they fucking lied about half of history, man. Because I was an ace in history and English and psychology. I aced all of those classes. Now, you try to get me to do math, I fucking suck at math. I fucking suck at math. Except for geometry. I'm alright with geometry, but I was in like AP English, AP History, AP Psychology, you know. You know, that's why, like, I don't know, like, but anyways, like Trump right now, this is my thing. Everyone was like, oh, I'm pro Trump, I'm pro Hillary. You realize there's like photos you can dig up of literally the Clintons hanging out with Donald Trump. They invited him to the wedding. You know, behind closed doors, Democrat or Republican, they're all hanging out in a lounge, like having champagne, and they're all on the same team. That's what cracks me up, man. People are like, oh, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. Dude, they're all literally hanging out with each other. They're all buddy buddy. It's like watching wrestling. I don't know if anyone who watches this has ever watched wrestling, pro wrestling. It's literally, and they're in the locker room and they're like, all right, well, I'm going to hit you here and you hit me here. And then, and by the way, there's a movie actually called The Wrestler. It's got Mickey Rourke, which it's an amazing movie because it actually pretty much tells the backstory. Like, if you believe pro wrestling, like you believe anything. It actually tells kind of the backstory, like how they would cut themselves before matches, and then like seal it up with like a little bit of like super glue or something, and then put makeup on it and Vaseline, and then hey, after I do this uppercut on you, punch me in the arm and blood's gonna gush out, or hit me over the head with a chair. I'll put my hand up like this. And they would hide razor blades and shit in their sweatbands, so that way they'd be like, all right, so and so's going for the chair, and they'd be like, oh no, oh, and then blood would start gushing out. Like, it's theatrics, man. Like, don't fall for this shit, this fucking politics shit. Like, my thing is with the wall, everyone's like, oh, they're building it to keep the Mexicans out. Did you ever think maybe they're building that wall to keep us in? I mean, Camp FEMA, here we come. And I talked to my dad. My dad is a piece of shit. He's a terrible person. But I talked to my dad. Last time I talked to my dad, me and my daughter went to a Chinese restaurant up the road. And I talked to him. And because he's a trucker. And I was like, because I was getting into conspiracies pretty big. And I still am. But I was like, man, what about all those underground tunnels and shit? Like miles and miles of underground tunnels and stuff like that. And Walmart trucks and FEMA and stuff. And he just looked at me and gave me this evil smile. And he's like, how do you know about all that? I was like, dude, I do my research, And this is a true fucking story. And he's like, yeah, there's something to it. There's something to it. Crazy thing is everyone's been talking about Camp FEMA and shit for years now. And now that it's actually come out on mainstream news, all the tinfoil hat, Hershey Kisses, conspiracy theorists, turns out they were fucking right about Camp FEMA, man. They're using it for Mexican immigrants or coyotes, and shit like that. People who jump the border, they're using it for them. And they're separating the families, and there's footage and everything. Like, fucking look it up, And the conspiracy theorists have been saying it for years. I mean, and I heard the other day that, honestly, like, the whole world right now is pretty much, like, cutting America off, like, to an extent. Like, they haven't, like, actually done it, but slowly and surely they're just kind of cutting us off because they're looking at us like, what the fuck? But if you actually look up America, there's this book, Hiram Key, it talks about, we were pretty much a Freemason experiment. America was based off of this star that they first seen whenever they, like, came here with Christopher Columbus, which he has Knights Templar connections. The star, and the name of the star was La America, or La Mercia, or something like that. And so they, like, we're pretty much the new Atlantis, man. We're the melting pot, which Atlantis was a melting pot back in the day. We're just a Freemason experiment. That's all we are. To see what happens when you just make a melting pot. Let's see how it turns out, kind of. At least that's what I have no idea because I'm not a Mason. But yeah, and I guess, there's this, here I'm going to talk, because I was talking politics, I'll give you some of my political point of views. And I'm going to bring up some heavy shit, so get offended if you want. Dude, tear me up in the comments. It's going to be awesome. This is my first time actually talking on politics. Like, I don't vote, for one. I believe local elections. I believe those are actual elections. You can actually make a small change with local elections. But with presidential elections, I actually encourage people not to vote. People go, well, how dare you? Why would you say that? Because there's this thing called the Electoral College. And me and my teacher, man, I was in a politics class in high school, and we would go round and round and round and round. I'm talking class after class, hour after hour. And I wasn't interrupting class. We just simply had political debate on the same fucking subject for hours, to the point where we could finish, like, curriculum and stuff because neither one of us were winning. He wanted to be right. I didn't want to be right. I was just asking questions because it did not make sense. Electoral fucking college, man. All it is a suggestion. Back in early 2000s, when Al Gore and Bush were running against each other, Al Gore won by votes. The Electoral College voted Bush in. And honestly, I don't care, get offended if you want. 9/11 was a fucking inside job. And the Bushes were definitely involved in that. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that whole rabbit hole. I'm just going to leave it simply at that. 9/11 was an inside job, man. And I don't think it could have been stopped, but I think it could have been postponed if Al Gore won, which he actually technically did win by votes by the American people. And I do think, honestly, that he was real big on the environment and stuff. I think a lot of this global warming and climate change shit would have been not so much stopped or fixed, but definitely postponed. And I do believe that 9/11 would have been postponed. And people are like, oh, I don't believe in global warming. Well, don't call it global warming. Call it climate change. Well, I don't believe in climate change. It's like, dude, have you not seen all the pictures of these polar bears? Me and my brother were talking about this earlier today. All the polar bears who are starving and dying, all the ice melting that they live on. And by the way, you know there's a new species of bears now? It's called a growler bear. Polar bears are literally moving down south to the point where they're breeding with grizzly bears, and they've created a new breed of bear called growler bear. It's a grizzly bear and a polar bear mix. Like, there's so much evidence that this world is fucked up, man. All the honeybees are dying. Einstein said when the honeybees go, we got, like, humankind has literally 3 years to live. 3 years. And they're already dying. So, like, that's another thing. I wish I could do beekeeping. I'll actually do a video on an article I read from a magazine about the bees and stuff. I'm pro beekeeping, you know, because I wish I could do it, but I live in an apartment complex. And my landlord would be like, hell no, you ain't keeping bees out here. You know what I mean? Which I don't blame him, but still, it's like, when those bees go, man, human life has 3 years, they say. Because they pollinate and all that jazz. What was I saying now? I don't know. I got off track with bees. Oh, yeah, bees, man. That's like, we go to festivals and stuff, like free festivals and stuff like that during the summer. Because in these small towns, they actually do a lot of stuff like barbecue festivals. And you ain't got to spend a lot of money. You can just go to it and just have a good time. Barbecue festivals, music festivals, jazz festival, bass band festival. We got a lot of historic stuff around here. They do reenactments of like Native American stuff and Civil War stuff. So we do a lot during the summer, and it's cheap, fun entertainment to get us out of the house. You know, so that way we're not stuck in front of this screen right here. But we ran across these beekeepers, and I didn't have enough money to buy their product, but I handed them a $5 bill, and they're like, "What's this for?" And I'm not trying to boast and say that I'm like an amazing, Christ-like human being. And I was like, to donate for your beekeeping. Why? It was like, because bees are going extinct, honeybees are going extinct, and like, you guys realize that like when the bees go, human life has like 3 years left to live. So, yeah, here's $5. I would like to live for at least another 3 years. But yeah, here's my other subject on politics. Marijuana. Like, I'm pro weed, you know. I would like to see weed at least decriminalized in all states. Obviously the world, but I'm talking about just the United States politics and government. I would like to see it decriminalized overall. But everyone's like pro legalize. Here's the only thing that I worry about the legalization of weed. Like with tobacco, I roll my own cigarettes. My cigarettes, yes, I smoke cigarettes, obviously. They're terrible for you. It's got nicotine, it's addictive, it causes lung cancer, but where I roll my own cigarettes, it doesn't have all the preservatives or all the chemicals, the additives that they add into it. It's pretty much the most pure natural form of tobacco that you can get. You know, and it's cheap. My thing is, if they legalize this weed, first of all, the pharmaceutical companies, Big Pharma, is going to get a hold of it. And they're going to add so much funky shit to this weed that it's going to be ridiculous. You're not even going to be smoking weed. You're going to be smoking some form of government poison, man. That's either going to make you batshit crazy, impotent, fucking, it's going to make you die. Something, man. I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, legalize weed. Let's go to, pharmaceutical. It would be nice to go to the pharmacy and get marijuana in a script. And it's like, nah, dude. I would rather go to the guy up the road who literally grows it from the ground naturally and smoke the actual shit rather than what the government's going to give us, man. Because they're not going to give us normal weed. They're going to give us something that, yeah, it ain't going to be normal weed. And no one has brought this subject up. No one has brought that, not subject, but that point of view. You guys trust the government so much, man. And it's scary because it's like, all these stoners out there, yeah, legalize marijuana, I can't wait to go to the pharmacy and get my weed bag. It's not going to be weed, man. It's going to be weed, but it's going to be a bunch of other shit in there, dude. It's not going to be just pure weed. Come on, people. Like, at this point, the people that trust the government, it cracks me up. Like, after Gulf of Tonkin, 9/11, the fake moon landings, like, you guys trust the government? I'm not even a Christian, but even Revelations, the book of Revelation in the Bible says, do not trust pharmakia, which is pretty much a translation of don't trust the pharmacies, Big Pharma. Like, dude, it's one thing to decriminalize it to where I can go outside and I can just light up and a cop's rolling down the road and I can go, that's one thing. But when you legalize it completely, to the point where they're going to make it criminal to grow it on your own, but you can get it from pharmacies, I ain't touching that shit. Nope. You all can have it. You all can smoke it. Yeah, because they're going to put so much other shit in there. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be right. Another thing, too, like, hell, I'm going to bring it up, abortion. I'm pro-abortion. And before you dislike and unsubscribe, at least listen to my point of view on why. I used to be, and I wasn't even Christian, it wasn't the Bible that was backing up my opinion or anything like that, but I used to be anti-abortion. But my thing is, okay, if you're just honestly a whore who just is like too stupid to get condoms, which are free at health departments, or you can't get on birth control, which, by the way, with Obamacare, I do have to say that, he forced everyone to get birth control. And I mean, I sat there on the phone, or health insurance. I sat there on the phone for literally days upon days and hours upon hours. But it is possible to get free health insurance. You know, if you just explain to the people and talk to them, you know, it is possible to do that. You can get on birth control. Well, birth control I can't do with my body. Well, condoms. You can get them free at health departments. Well, condoms make me break out. Well, don't they have, like, goatskin condoms or something crazy? Sorry, that was just random. But, like, even at that point, man, like, there's other forms of sex. Like, I know it's not foolproof, but the guy can pull out. It's not guaranteed, but it at least makes the odds better of not getting pregnant. But these chicks that just, like, oh, I've had 6 abortions from 6 different guys, like, no offense, but stop being a fucking whore. You realize you have a hand, you have a mouth. And I'm not trying to be gross, but I'm pro-sodomy, man. You have an asshole. Like, use that. That's another thing, too. Like, sodomy laws. There was this story that I ran across. It was this gay couple. This gay guy, his boyfriend left him for another guy. So the gay guy knew that the boyfriend was over there because he was stalking him, the new boyfriend. So he called the cops saying that there was an emergency, that they needed to break in, that there was a robbery or burglary going on. It was an anonymous call. So the cops bust in, and these two gay guys are literally butt fucking. And where it's against the law, technically, they arrested them. So that'd be like if me and my wife are doing some form of sodomy and the cops bust in because of an anonymous call. They literally, by law, can arrest me and her. Like, I thought this was the land of the free. You know, as long as you're not messing with kids or animals, why the fuck does it matter which hole you put it in? As long as you're not hurting the person and it's all consensual. Seriously? They're pretty much telling you what you can and can't do with your penis. Like, hang on a second. I wonder if I can pause this for a second. Probably not. I gotta pee really, really bad. I'll be right back. And no, I did not wash my hands. Because I don't want too long of a break and I don't want to make cuts and edits on this video. But yeah, so I'm pro-abortion. And before you guys freak out, this is why. Say a brother fucks his sister. I really don't think that abortion would be a bad thing in that situation. Because most likely, statistically and medically, that baby's going to come out fucked up. Like, fucked up, man. Like, Elephant Man fucked up. There's a chance that that's going to happen. And even, like, say something wrong happened in the forming of the brain to where, like, maybe it's pain receptors, maybe it feels pain 24/7. Like, to me, as a human being, if I felt pain 24/7, from birth till natural death when God takes me away, that sounds like hell on earth, literally. To just feel pain 24/7 because your parents were brother and sister and something got fucked up. Or a rape victim. There's two different things with rape victims. Like, if you were raped, you had a perfect life set out. You're 15 years old, and you already got colleges they're giving you, saying pretty much they're going to pay for your tuition. You could be a lawyer, a doctor, a judge, whatever. And some fucking maniac rapes you in an alleyway on your way home from school one day. Like, that woman is going to be tied up with a child which she did not choose to have. Which she's forced to have now. Now that's fucked up. I say honestly, abort the child and continue your life. And honestly, she shouldn't feel guilt for it. Because she didn't choose to have her entire life fucked up. Her entire life altered. You know? Or even like, say, she was raped and literally it would kill her if she had the baby. Because she has certain medical issues to where it would literally kill her if she had the baby. That's pretty much like if... Like, then the baby should be aborted, man. You know? But to say, no, it's all in God's hands. Well, maybe this chick's an atheist. Freedom of religion, right? If there's freedom of religion, there should be freedom of lack of religion. Freedom of no religion. Ta-da! That should have been written in the Constitution. Freedom of religion and freedom to have no religion. Maybe that should be an amendment, I guess is what they would say. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much like raping someone, like, and forcing them to have a baby. That's like saying, oh, well, I have this gun to your head. I'm going to pull the trigger. It's all in God's hands, though. Maybe the gun doesn't fire. Maybe there's not a bullet in there. That's playing Russian roulette with someone else's lives. That's like making someone play Russian roulette. Forcing them to play Russian roulette, and you just watch while you're eating your popcorn. No. Fuck that shit. And just because you believe some ancient book thousands of years ago doesn't mean I do. Doesn't mean I should be forced to believe that. But yeah. I don't know. I don't vote in the main elections. Actually, I almost registered Vermin Supreme. I would have voted for him. 2020, I think Jesse Ventura, he said something about he might run in 2020. I would register to vote for him. Vermin Supreme or Jesse Ventura. There was someone else that I ran across that I almost thought about voting for. Those are the two. If those two ran, I would definitely fucking register to vote. But besides that, I don't vote in main elections. I'm not Republican, Democrat. I'm not third. I guess I would be kind of third party. Because Vermin Supreme is actually, he's ran for anarchist before. Matthew Silver ran it for vice president with him 1 year. I don't know if you all know who Matthew Silver is, but check him out. He's a street performer. That's my stance on politics, abortion. I guess I delved into environmentalism. I might do more political talks, but honestly, that's all I have to say about politics right now. There's my first political rant. I hope y'all enjoyed.